Hi, this is Lisa Loves to Crochet and Knit. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this leprechaun beard. Now I have a child size here, and you can add a little shamrock to it if you like, but for babies or little kids I don't like to add things that they can pull off and choke, so it's your choice. And so it just goes around the ears, and you're welcome to do elastic around the ears. I chose not to. And so the adult one, I didn't even glue those ones on because I can't make up my mind if I want them on there or not. And so I'm going to show you how to make the adult size, not the children's size in this video. And you're going to need some orange yarn, and I couldn't tell you what the color is because I don't have the packaging anymore. So you're also going to need a crochet hook, a size I. And then you're going to need a tapestry needle to weave in your ends. And a pair of scissors. And now remember, you could use elastic for the outer sides. And you could sew it on if you like, but I just chose to crochet a little chain. So you're going to want to start for the adult. You're going to want to start with a slip knot. And I just tighten it on my crochet hook. Just like that. And then you're going to want to chain 31. So let me get my 31 and I'll come back. Okay, so there's my 31 chains. And now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to skip that first chain you just came out of and go into the next one with a single crochet. So you're just going to single crochet all the way back down the chain. So I will see you when I get back. Okay, so I've single crocheted all the way back down the chain. Just one single crochet in each stitch. And I crocheted over my ends, so that's all set. And so I'm going to chain one at the end, and I'm going to turn my work. And now I'm going to do these puff stitches. Now there's lots of ways to do puff stitches if you want, but this is how I choose to do it. And so in the first chain, you're going to want to start with a single crochet. And in the second chain, you're going to want to do a puff stitch. Now my puff stitches, I have 4 double crocheted together. And basically this is how I do it. There's half of my double crochet, I haven't finished the stitch. And I'm just going to go right back in that stitch and pull up the loops. And there's 2 double crochets in that same stitch. And I'm going to put a total of 4 of those. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I'm just going to pull one loop through them all. And it creates a puffy. I'm just going to pull it tight. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet. And then you can see that it creates like this little puff stitch. So let me do another one. So I'm just going to pull up. So I've completed my single crochet, and I'm just going to wrap the yarn around my hook, insert it into the next stitch, and pull up a loop. So I have 2 loops. Well, I actually have 3 loops on my crochet hook, and I'm going to pull through 2. And then I'm going to do that again. Grab yarn over, insert my hook into the same stitch, pull up a loop. Now I have a total of 4 loops on my hook. And then I'm going to pull through 2 loops. And then I wrap around the yarn around my hook again for a yarn over, insert my hook in that same stitch, and pull up a loop. And so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on my hook, and I'm just going to pull through the first 2. And so now it leaves me 4 loops on my hook, which they're going to stay because I only have 3 double crochets that are half done. And then I'm going to grab another yarn over, insert my hook in the same stitch, pull through the first and pull up a loop, and then I'm going to pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then so now I'm going to have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on my hook. And that has 4 double crochets that are only halfway done. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull a loop through all 5 of those loops. And then in the next stitch, I'm just going to single crochet. So it's quite the little puffy little stitches. Want me to do that again? So I've single crocheted in that next stitch, and I'm going to do another puff stitch, and that involves 4 double crochets together. So I'm going to do half of them first, and then I pull through all the loops on top. So there was my yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook, pull through the first 2. I'm still going to have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, insert my hook in the same stitch, pull up a loop. Now I'm going to yarn over again, pull through the first 2 stitches, and then I'm going to have 3 loops on my hook. And the next stitch, in the next one, I'm going to do the same thing, yarn over, insert my hook into the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over again, pull through the first 2. That's 3 double crochets that are half completed. And then the next one, I yarn over and insert my hook in that same stitch and pull up a loop, and then I'm going to yarn over again and pull through the first 2. And then I have 5 loops on my hook because I have 4 double crochets that are only halfway done. And so now I'm going to yarn over and pull a loop through all 5 of those stitches, and that's my puff stitch. So I'm going to continue with my puff stitch, and they're all going to be facing the opposite way. If you can see, they're all facing that direction when I make them, and so the inside is towards the camera. So this is how they puffy. And then next stitch, I'm going to do another puff stitch and another single crochet. So I'm going to alternate those 2 stitches all the way down to the end of this row. So I'm just going to continue with that. So I'm going to do another puff stitch here and then another single crochet, and then repeat that same pattern. So I'll see you at the end of this row. Okay, so I've completed my last puff stitch, and I'm at the end of the row, and I have 2 stitches left. And I'm going to single crochet in both of those last 2 stitches. Just 1 single crochet in both of them. And then I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to turn my work. Now, the reason why there's 1 single crochet in this end and 2 on this one, is because you alternate, so you move the puff stitches over a couple of stitches. So they're not completely lined up, so it looks more pleasing to the eye. So the next stitch, I'm in the next row, and this row is after the puff stitch. So I've chained 1, and now all I'm going to do is put 1 single crochet in each stitch across this row. So, and you're only putting 1 in that puff stitch, and that stitch will look wider than the other one, but that's completely fine. Just continue to put 1 single crochet in both of the loops all the way down to the end of this row. And so it looks like that. So I'm just going to continue 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way down. Okay, so I've completed the that row, so I think that's the 4th row, if I remember correctly. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4th row with a single crochet. And I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work so the puff stitches is facing away from the camera. And this is why I explained it earlier on the next row, is I'm going to start the puff stitch in that first stitch, not the chain 1 space that you created, but in that first single crochet. And I'm just going to yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through those first 2. And then I'm just going to continue with my puff stitch in that first stitch, 3, and this is 4. And so there's my puff stitch, and then I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch. And then you can see that the one puff stitch on this row is slightly over, it's not directly over the one from below. So that's why. So now I'm going to, my next stitch, I've done my single crochet. I'm going to do a puff stitch in this next stitch and a single crochet in the next. A puff stitch, a single crochet, a puff stitch, all the way to the end. And I'll come back when I'm at the end of this row. So I've completed that row, and this row ended with a 1 single crochet at the end. And then I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and so there's my 2 rows of puff stitches. And they're not directly over, they're kind of staggered just slightly. And then the next row, I'm just going to put 1 single crochet in that first stitch and 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way to the end of this row. Okay, so I've completed my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th row, and make sure you count, make sure you're only doing 30 stitches across. And I'm starting the 3rd puff row, and so I've chained my 1, and I'm going to turn my work until the puffs are going to be away from me. And in the first stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet, and then the second one I'm going to do a single crochet, and then the third I'm going to do another puff stitch. And so this is going to be repeating after I do this puff stitch. I'm going to do 1 single crochet. There's my puff stitch. I'm going to pull it tight, and then I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch. And then in my next stitch, I'm going to do another puff stitch. So I'm just going to complete this row and come back. Okay, so I've completed my last puff stitch on that row, and there's just a single crochet left. And so I'm just going to single crochet that, and I'm going to chain 1, turn my work. And so that's my last row of puff stitches. And so now I'm going to single crochet, skip that first one, and single crochet across this row. And then we'll get to the mouth part. So let me finish single crocheting at the end of this row. I'll come back. Okay, so I've completed my last row of puff stitches before I work on where the mouth opening is on that row. And so you can see that I have an opening for your mouth. So this is what we're going to do on this row. I've completed my last row of single crochets, and I'm going to chain 1. So I've done 3 complete rows of puff stitches and single crochets, and the middle just a single crochet rows. So now I'm going to turn my work, because I've already done my single crochet row. So now I'm going to turn my work, and I'm just going to do 5 puff stitches on this side, and you'll see where I'm talking about, and I'm going to stop, and I'm going to do the mouth part. So to do this row, I've chained 1, and I'm working on that row of puff stitches and for the mouth opening. And I'm going to put a single crochet in that first stitch, and then I'm going to put a puff stitch, and then I'm going to put 5 puff stitches in this row, and I'm going to stop. So I'm just going to complete this. So I'm just going to do a puff stitch. There's 3, and this is 4. So there's my 1 puff stitch, and then there's my 1 single crochet, and the next stitch I'm going to do a single crochet, and then the next one a puff stitch. So I'm just going to do 5 of those pairs. So I have 5 single crochets when I end on a single crochet after my 5th puff stitch, and come back. So I've completed my 5 puff stitches. So it starts with a single crochet, a puff stitch, a single crochet, a puff stitch, a single crochet, and so I end with a puff stitch, or a single crochet, I'm sorry. And then I'm going to do 1 more single crochet, and then I'm going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to do one, I'm going to skip these below here. I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to go in this next stitch with a single crochet. And then this starts my row of 5 puff stitches on this. So I'm just going to do another puff stitch. And then the next stitch will be a single crochet. So there's my single crochet and there's my puff stitch. Now I'm going to complete that round or that row with alternating every other puff stitch, every other single crochet until I reach my end. Okay, so I've completed my last puff stitch, and then so now I have a single crochet that's left. So I'm just going to single crochet in there, pull it tight, chain 1, turn my work, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puff stitches on this side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puff stitches on this side. And so there's your mouth opening. And now this row, I'm just going to put 1 single crochet across, and I'll see you when I get back. Okay, so I'm to the mouth part, and I'm just going to put a single crochet in each stitch across, just like you normally would. It's just a super simple. And then I'm just going to complete it to the end. Okay, so I've completed my single crochet row, and I've completed my last stitch. I'm just going to chain 1, turn my work, and I'm going to do a puff stitch and a single crochet, just like I've done across the top here, just like we've done below. So we're just going to continue with that. So the puff stitch, I'm just going to single crochet in the first 2, and so I'll move the puff stitch kind of like in the middle. You can see kind of like this one is. So I'm going to put 2 single crochets here. And so I'm just going to 1 single crochet, and there's 2 single crochets, 1 on each stitch, and then I'm going to do a puff stitch. Still working in both loops like I've gone through the whole thing, and then just put a puff stitch and a single crochet, 1 in one stitch and 1 in the next. So you're repeating that pattern. 1 single crochet, 1 puff stitch, all the way across. So I'll see you when I get done with this row. So I've completed that row, and then I'm just going to chain 1, or I'm sorry, I'm going to do the ear straps, and I'm going to chain 18 because that's what fits me. Almost a 16 chains almost fits me to pull it tight. Okay, so I've chained my 18 chains for the ear strap, and I'm just going to go to the bottom corner with a single crochet and a chain 1. And then I'm going to cut my working yarn, pull up that a loop, make that a knot. And there's my ear strap. Now the other side, I'm going to make a slip knot, put it on my crochet hook. I'm going to grab this corner, and I'm just going to put a single crochet in that corner, and I'm going to chain 17. 1, 2, 3. So there's my 17. So it's a total of 18 with a single crochet that I started with. And then I'm just going to go in that top corner with a single crochet, and I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to cut my working yarn, and I'm going to weave in my ends and come back. So I've completed my beard and my ear straps. Now if this doesn't fit you, you're going to have to try it on yourself to see if it fits on your head and your face between your ears, or you could do elastic. Like I said, you can do elastic around. If you want, you can do elastic around the whole thing, or you can just do elastic around your ears. You could sew it onto it. I choose to use the yarn. And then the other thing that you can do for the little kids is you could have it so you make the little hat, the leprechaun hat, and you attach buttons to the inside, and then you just grab one of your little loops in here and you just put it around there and it'll work for that. So it'll go right in to one of those little spaces. You don't even have to make button spaces. You have to, obviously you have to find a button that will work for that. And so there is the little beard for the leprechaun. And obviously you'll have to adjust it to fit your little person. This is for a newborn, so this is really small. The beard, I think, can stretch to a youth, probably a toddler, but not a teen or anything like that. So this is an adult size beard that we just made, but you could make yourself a hat and attach with buttons if you don't want anything over your ears. I've done that before. So there's your leprechaun beard, and you can always add your little details, your little shamrocks on there if you like, with hot glue. And so he can be a little more St. Patrick's Day. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.